Well, Gavin, there's a lot of relief here that this second group of hostages were actually freed after a nail-biting, 7-hour delay. Uh, the 13 include 8 children, 3 mothers, a grandmother, and an injured 21-year-old. And in violation of the agreement, actually, there were 2 people on the list who were not released with their families. The 21-year-old still has an 18-year-old brother who meets all the requirements to be released. He's under 19. He never served in the Israeli army. And there's another 12-year-old girl who was released without her mother. So there are still some disputes. And from what we understand, some of the arguments and debate that led to that delay, Israeli and Qatari and Egyptian and US officials are still worked through the night to hammer out some of those details so that tonight we don't see a huge delay like this. Obviously, a lot of joy that some of these families have come out, especially the young children. There's a 3-year-old in the group. But still, it has to be said, there are still dozens of families that are grieving and mourning and anxious and don't know if their loved ones are going to come out. So this is somewhat of a bittersweet moment for Israel. On the other side, there were reports yesterday that some top Qatari officials were here in Israel, and it appears that an extension of this deal is already being discussed. Reports that Hamas may have located another 10, even 20 hostages that it is willing to release, which is good news for all sides.
Well, you mentioned Jordana, the 9-year-old girl. Extraordinary news for Tom Hand. We heard from him on France 24. His daughter Emily Hand, the reports that she had been killed, and now she has been released. So as you say, it is bittersweet, but incredible moment for Tom Hand today. Also want to talk to you about what happens next. I spoke yesterday to Majid Al-Ansari, the spokesperson for the foreign ministry in Qatar, who's been giving the updates. And he was saying this is a 24-hour process. The negotiations don't stop. But they're at the point now that they could look to extending if this shaky deal still holds.
Right. And that's really such good news for all sides, as I said. First of all, Gazans who are in the northern part of the Strip for the first time are getting aid. As some 61 trucks finally reached the northern Gaza Strip. All the aid that had been coming in during this war and which had been very limited because of Israel's siege never reached the north of the Gaza Strip. So, Israel, the more aid that can get in, the more days that we have this pause will help the people of the Gaza Strip. Remember, they're also getting fuel in for the first time in large amounts, cooking gas in, and all kinds of needed, humanitarian aid and goods. Remember that 1.7 million Gazans have been displaced from this war. So there are many people who have nowhere to shelter. They're in tents. The winter is beginning to set in here. They're cold. They need blankets, etc. So, not only, could Israel see more of its hostages released, but even the people of Gaza will also get relief. And remember, for every 10 hostages that Hamas locates and releases, another, 3 times that, so it would be 30 Palestinian women and minors convicted of security offenses would be released here in Israel.